Good morning.
Wet riding gear. You caught me at a very sensitive moment. Yo.
Did you sleep well, Pierre?
I slept like one of those African cows that ran across the freeway and got hit by a cool drink truck, those big interlink trucks, and then was basically stinking on the road for the last week and a half. One of those dead cows. I slept like that. But today is all about being alive, staying alive on the water, not drowning as if, oh, I'm already drowning in my suit. Now the jacket. So, Louis has done rather well. Yesterday on the way here, I thought we were going to take him to hospital for sure. But yeah, he's alive. So I'm just going to try and... Morning.
Good morning.
Louis!
Are you happy?
That's a relative term. I'm always happy.
But how wet is your...
Yeah, that's
Your jacket.
That's a different subject altogether. Yes, like what? Check out the sleeves. Check out the sleeves. Yes. They are lovely. Chilly, wet. Yeah. I want to show you something. Today's route is not going to be very far. It's let's see. It's not that far. It's
So we're going all the way back and then we go...
back to town.
Yeah.
With the same muddy, rutted road that
Yeah.
the traffic this morning. Obviously, people going in on the gravel road
It's
rutted
going
it
to
out.
be much better than yesterday. More holy, like in holes.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
and-
holy, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that far. I think
No, it's not.
it says it's half an hour's ride.
Yeah.
And so we're going to a place next to the river called Real Adventures,
Yes.
as if you're not wet enough. And we're going to try and stay above water for a while.
So we're really doing an off-road trip.
Yes, it's
Off-road.
off-road as well. It's a marine trip.
We headed out in the fresh early morning air, eager to catch up on all the riding that we missed. Signs of the previous day's thunderstorms were everywhere.
Enjoy being the oldest man. You're welcome, Daddy. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. To the left. Yes. Yes, I'm going to keep to the left. Look at the view. The moment. Oh, the view.
The washed away track, with sandy spots and lots of standing water, made for some very entertaining riding and amazing views along the way.
And here we go. Now there's a lot of ruts here, but I mean slowly. Morning, Mama. And we have peak hour traffic. Peak hour traffic in the dome. And what a lovely ride. I'm going to get you a little something. I picked it especially for you. As a token of my undying love. A flower. What? It's yours. Bloody hippie bikers. Let's go. Let's go for it. Riding off into the sunset with my Prince Charming. Flower. My wife is concerned about you already.
For the second time in as many days, we rode into Paris for some fuel. then back over the bridge again. The Vaal River, one of the bigger rivers in South Africa, meanders its way through the Dome's hills, and we were heading towards the northern bank of the river, to the Real Adventures base camp. The entire crew kitted up for a river rafting adventure. We climbed onto a truck and bounced our way down to the riverside, where our two very patient guides, Lucky and Kingsley, would surely make championship rowers of us all.
Shots good. Talent opset. We've reached the Rubicon.
Okay, so where do we go for our first swimming lesson?
The wet part. We go to the wet part. If you go that way,
Yes.
it's dry. If you go there, that is wet. So we
But
go.
where do we get our training?
Our training probably here.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get our safety briefing, health and safety. We're going to take a blood pressure sperm count.
Sperm count too.
Swim count test as well.
Damn.
Because
But if I fail it?
it is spawning season. So we have to take the sperm
Okay.
count as well for the test. Otherwise, we are rowing that way.
Yeah.
Right, Tim. So, lucky still my name, it hasn't changed. I'm just going to give you guys a quick briefing on how to maneuver these boats and also for rescue. In case one of you flips or pops out of the boat, you know exactly how to get yourself back into the boat.
Oh, the crocodiles are only
Yeah, we
coming out at
haven't fed
11.
them.
So
Feeding
we
time
have,
is
yeah,
11.
we have
They
an
said
hour and a
it's
half
11.
before the crocodiles
yeah,
arrive.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Go down. We normally feed them at around 11. So
Yes.
Yeah, an hour and a half before the crocodiles.
luckily,
yes.
the crocodiles, they only go for white meat. So me, Kingsley, we save some of us.
You guys, white meat.
Yeah, we got, yeah.
Crocodile, yeah, but oh yes, because it's rivers that mouth out in the eastern, western side. Yes, these are white meat crocodiles. You're quite right.
Okay.
At the launch, it immediately became clear that this was going to be a very entertaining trip. I suppose river rafting is almost like riding a chromed cruiser. Sure, everyone was wearing the same colors, and we were struggling to take an average corner, so it's basically the same thing. Naturally, it calls for a huge amount of silliness and rule breaking just to keep things entertaining, and even then, there are long, slow, boring stretches. So yes, I think it's exactly like riding a chromed cruiser. Granted, this is not the Zambezi in flood, but it does make for a rather enjoyable ride, if you know where to find the fun.
I burst my toe in a bit of a motorcycle accident 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah, it's actually shattered and burst open, so I don't want to stub it against anything, you know what I mean?
I hear you. I got it.
The next thing we knew, the crew and guides left us all alone at the entrance to a series of rapids that they very ominously call the coffee grinder. Well, the drops weren't too big, but they were all lined up, and once you start down the run, there's no real bailout. True to character, the two greybeards paddled their way through the puddle. Man, what class! Absolute class.
My life is good.
And the rain made an impact on the river as well, eh? And not in the river level, but it's certainly much cleaner
By far.
than when I remember it.
The water is so clean that it doesn't smell abnormal.
Like it used to. Because we're in the unfortunate position that this river is a main artery to the biggest industrial and most polluted and most populated province in South Africa. Exactly. And it has its drawbacks. Although we're here, it's beautiful, clean. And the rain's made an impact, and the river's made an impact on me for a change. It hasn't happened in a long time.
But
Not
that's
in a
good.
long time.
It's good.
You call it ego, I call it testes. My wife has mine. She has two of them in a little, you know, those little velvet bags that the string, drawstring. She has both of them in a little bag, in her handbag.
So they don't dry out.
Yes, and she allows me to take one of them out to
Once
go
a
on bike
week?
trips.
Oh no, I get to take out one once a week.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's lovely.
because I bring her on trips like this.
I do trips like this so I can take my family away later and show them where I've been. And then we take the 4x4 trailer, the caravan, and the 4x4, and we hit the road. And I must admit, it has an impact on my family as well. I can tell you, they are much different to the usual family, city-dwelling family. It's healthier.
What I find interesting is how nice it is to be here
Yeah.
without my wife.
I told you. Oh, well, we're joking now.
Thank you. I needed a guide because my captain
I'm
got
very
lost so many
suspicious.
times. What sure. Dankie hoor. It was great, man. Dankie.
It was lovely.
Stunning.
Enjoyed it. It was nice doing it with you.
Can we go again? This time I sit at the back.
Yes, you sit at the back, I'll lounge in the sun.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Okay, let's go.
The day had flown by, and we were getting very hungry by the time we were back onto the bikes.
Right, gentlemen, that was it. That was our lovely river rafting session. I think we should end this off with some refreshment and lunch.
We hit the road through Venterskroon. The huge, unseasonable deluge of 55 millimeters the previous evening tried its best to wash all the dusty roads into the river. But there are plenty of great riding gravel at any time of the year in and around the Vredefort Dome, fit for any type of adventure bike.
It's crashed though. So how's the bike doing over the rocks? You pushed it over some rocks I saw on the way here.
This is the interesting thing.
Yeah?
Those rocky ridges are normally a bit of a...
Yeah.
Not with this thing.
No,
It just goes.
It's probably because it's so light in the big front wheel. And then a lot of travels with the suspension, the travel in the suspension. It's the thing for the off-road. Although I must admit, it's very underpowered. Very, very underpowered. It's a little detuned motorcycle, but if you buy it for your son or your daughter to go to school with, it's quite nice. It's exactly what you want, not too much power. We are going to the hotel at Scandinavia Drift. And that
I've
is...
never been there, you know that?
Well, then today is the day.
Never been to Scandinavia Drift.
And it's a mere 61 kilometers to get there.
We were crossing more and more standing water and muddy bogs, and taking it all in our stride every single time. Well, almost every single time.
This is going to be fun. Slow down, as slow as you can. Kom. Is je oké? Is je goed terug? In die modder, in the mud.
Frans, you're one of the filthiest people I know.
Are you okay? But look at my shoes now. My boots are all filthy from helping you out of the mud.
So is this thing okay?
Let's have a
I'm
let's
good.
see. Let's do a quick check. Lever's not broken at the top. Oh, indicator has some damage. We'll strap it up with a little bit of tape when we get out. We'll clean it up.
There's a piece of tape.
This is fine. It's not bent. It's not bent. Usually it's bent up against the panel there.
Yeah,
It's
but
not.
there's a gap.
That's fine. There's a gap there. The front caliper is all right, and the brake disc seems fine. The caliper's fine. It's still mounted. Everything's done. Thank you for bark busters. You still have a brake lever on the side. Thank you very much. And now let's see here. The other thing is the brake lever on the side. Everything's fine actually. I don't know why you're faffing. Why are you playing in the mud and wasting all our time? Switch it off totally. Let everything run down, all the electronics. Switch it on again. Remember, it's going to be a little flooded.
Yeah.
Because I can actually smell fuel. I smell the fuel. Just let it run a little bit so the flood runs off. Wow, it still sounds beautiful. It still sounds beautiful. It's a Honda. It's a Honda, Papa. Right, so now we're quickly going to fix this indicator.
Yeah.
Clean that and we tape it up so it's not messing up the rest of the body panels. So how's your foot? Because your foot was pointing the other direction.
I know, but it's fine.
Is it okay?
We'll probably be a bit stiff in the morning. It'll be swollen in the morning or whatever.
No, or we could just amputate it then when we get time. So I have hacksaw blades. We can hacksaw it off. Yeah. If you can't fix anything with tape and cable ties, then it's probably not worth fixing. Just buy something new. Lekker. I don't see what the big hoo-ha is about.
No.
No.
I now understand why it's this color.
Why?
So you can't see the mud on it.
Can't see the mud, yeah.
One of the most important things that decades of adventure riding taught me is the proper treatment for post-crash traumatic stress. And as luck would have it, there was a treatment facility just around the corner. The best remedy is to drag your tired, bruised, muddy bones into an old country bar and then lose track of time while savoring some of the delicious local fare. After some intensive treatment, the standard frown on France's brow reappeared. Job well done. We headed back home a little later than we originally planned.
Right, gentlemen, the home stretch for the afternoon. It's been a very interesting day so far.
Absolutely.
This is still part of the Northwest Province, but if we turn left and go over the Vaal River again with a bridge at Scandinavia Drift, then we're back into the Free State.
Scandinavia Drift was an important point on the map in the olden days, where travellers and ox wagon laden with transport goods used to cross the Vaal River.
Oh, there's the drift there, you can see it. There's the old exit point of the drift coming out of the water, right there where the shade starts.
Dropping down back into the foothills of the Vredefort Dome, we felt that feeling of contentment that only a long day on the bike can provide. A quiet, cruising comfort inside the helmet, with the late afternoon sun at our backs and the hypnotic mechanical hum under the seat. A perfect, picturesque ending to a very entertaining day. It was the last day of our trip through the Vredefort Dome. I wanted to take Louis to one of the places that we used to visit many years ago, but that meant that we had to ride through Parijs yet again. If I was the mayor of that town that morning, I would have welcomed us with a cup of coffee and a donut. Or something small, like a 24-carat key to the town. Maybe. I'm just saying. We eventually arrived at Eendekuil fly fishing spot, just off the road at Lindekiesdrift. Tim, the owner, welcomed us to his piece of heaven on the Vaal, and then we headed down to our usual spot to stare at the river and, as anglers are obliged to do, make hugely speculative remarks about the ideal spot to catch a yellow. We excitedly started to prepare for the morning's angling.
A friendly tip for fishermen. Before you insert your rod, I know. Before you do that, just wipe the side of the rod on your nose, because there's always like a little, I don't know about you, but I've got oily nose skin. Is something like that? And then when you insert the tip here, I said it again. Then it's easier when you finish to pull this thing out again, because it's lubricated. I'm sorry. I don't know this conversation is going south. En garde! Stop with all the double entendre.
Our very first fishing trip was to this place. Do you remember that? I will never forget.
I remember it. I remember early morning sunrise here. Leaving Pretoria at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
Eating a garage pie on the way.
Yeah.
Or our wives made us some boerewors.
Or leftovers.
In a skafting on the way here.
Yeah.
Stopping here at sunrise, quickly rigging up, going into the water, coming back out 10 o'clock at 11-ish, drying,
Yeah.
falling asleep after lunch, sleeping, like an afternoon nap, getting up, fishing again at 3.
Yeah.
Till dark, and then going home. And that was our first love, before we rode bikes though, I must admit.
This trip has been the best experience I've ever had in wet clothes. I'm serious.
We're wet constantly, we haven't dried up once.
So let's go fish. After you. Let's have fun.
The river looked beautiful and welcoming. The time of day, small insects on the wing, the sun gently dancing on the water, and the glistening lines casting delicious handmade lures made for seemingly perfect fly fishing conditions. But the yellows didn't share our sentiments. After a fruitless couple of hours, we took stock of our disappointing morning.
I almost got emotional getting out of the river now.
Really?
Time, the erosion of time, the impact that we have on stuff that are supposed to be here long after we've gone.
Yes. Absolutely.
Not even a stumpy.
Nothing. The water is completely dead. You can normally see something move.
You'll see movement.
Activity there, a fin there, or something like it. There's
Even if it's a
nothing.
mudfish or something.
Yeah, I heard one splash, and it could have been you falling over or something. Yeah. It's incredibly sad that this exquisite beauty around us is being degraded by people's greed and what is the word for
and just
completely not caring? There must be a word for it.
An awareness, a sensitivity. But I mean, we can't choose what people feel. We can't choose what people think.
No.
We're all here on the planet just making a life for ourselves and scratching open our little piece where we have to stay in.
The problem is it's become a trend to do it at the cost of others, and especially at the cost of nature. And that pisses me off. There's no other word for it.
I want to thank you
for using the word, oh,
For joining me.
but you know, I couldn't say no. It was too special.
Thank you.
No, thanks, man.
It was a memorable trip. Thank you.
Thank
for,
you.
for just making me experience other things a bit more again. Thank you for the impact you had in my life.
And you and mine. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Footpeg Diaries. I think on that note, we're going to go home.
And have coffee at my place.
Going to see you off and hand you over to your lovely wife. And that'll be the end of our Footpeg journey.
But thank you again. And thank you to all your crew.
With a heavy heart, we greeted Louis and headed back home. There wasn't much chatter on the comms between me and Frans. The morning turned out to be one of quiet reflection and almost of nostalgia, memories of times gone by, the fleeting nature of life, our impact on each other and Mother Nature. It made me want to turn back, off the concrete highway that's speeding into the city, back to the dome. Again. Soon. Thanks for joining us on our trip with Louis Minnaar through the Vredefort Dome. Remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications for a heads up of our next Footpeg Diaries episode. But until then, keep riding and discovering.